Jack the Bully Slayer by Vlad the writer. Jack grew up in the area of Jacksonville called Baldwin. It is a very backwoods area on the outskirts of Jacksonville, Florida. Really, the only thing to do there is to go hunting in the woods. The funniest place in the area is the equestrian center that they built about 10 years ago. Aside from houses, here and there, the area is mostly woods. The kids growing up really have to be creative to have fun in Baldwin. Jack spent his elementary school years attending Baldwin Elementary School, and because of his stutter, Jack got picked on almost a daily basis. Since the other children thought he was mentally challenged, his nickname became Forrest Gump. The other kids in his class pestered Jack to do a Forrest Gump impersonation. He did the impression only to stop the kids from egging him on. Needless to say, Jack really didn't have any friends. The only friend that Jack had was a kid named Alan. Alan got made fun of because he was short and obese. Alan could relate to Jack because he knows how it is to be picked on. Alan's name at school was Humpty Dumpty. All the popular kids made fun of Alan and Jack because they wanted to stay in the cool group. Jack and Alan truly believed that it was them against the world. Jack's dad introduced him to baseball when he was 5 because he picked up the rules of the game very quickly. Jack's dad took him to Jacksonville Suns games on Saturdays, and they quickly became Jack's favorite baseball team. The Suns are a minor league team from Miami, Maryland. Anyway, Jack and his dad would go on little league teams every chance he got. Jack's dad finally gave in and allowed him to join the team. Jack's dad knew it was hard for him to meet new people, so he thought that this would be a good way for Jack to meet a new friend. Jack quickly became the best player on the team. The coach would put him on third base, and everything that was hit his way couldn't get past him. Jack was a really good hitter. He got a homer just about every game, and on the games he didn't, he would be really upset. In the third game of the season, Jack hit for the cycle, which would mean he got a base hit, a triple, a double, and a home run. Jack's parents took him to get pizza and ice cream for lunch. Baseball was really the only thing that kept Jack's sanity. Who knows what would make of Jack if it wasn't for baseball? Jack is the type of person that didn't wear his emotions on his sleeve. He tend to bottle his anger for the expression instead of expressing it. Many people thinks that is an unhappy way of living. When Jack is angry, he just plays video games and reads his favorite comics, which is Spider-Man. Jack can relate to Peter Parker because he is an outcast, just like Jack. You can say that Jack is living vicariously through Peter Parker. Really, the only normal thing about Jack is that he is good at baseball. Despite this fact, he is still an outcast on the team. The other players only talk to him because they feel that they have to, not because they want to. Jack finished the season with the most hits and homers on the team. He was given the most valuable player trophy by the coach. This made Jack really happy. This was his first reward that wasn't for school. To celebrate this, Jack's parents are really happy for Jack's accomplishments. They know how good this makes Jack feel. They also realize that Jack really doesn't have many chances in life to be happy. That September, Jack's dad took him to his first football game. The game was in between the Jaguars and the Chiefs. The game was a very defensive battle. The final score was 10-3 in favor of the Jaguars. The field was very muddy because of all the rain, which led to a very sloppy game as far as both offending offense were concerned. The only touchdowns of the game was 20-yard touchdowns run by Maurice Jones-Drew. The running game of both teams was the only part of the offense that worked. In the third grade, Jack started something that is very disturbing. He started a hit list of all the people that had bullied him so far in school. His plan is to get back at them somehow. Once he moved out of his parents' house, he had received a composition book from his grandmother for his birthday. She had no idea that Jack was planning to use it for a hit list. Jack usually kept it in his book bag. When he is not writing in it, Jack's parents hardly check his backpack because they trusted him. They won't have anything potentially dangerous in there. When they want to see something in his backpack, they let him reach in there himself. His parents know that he gets bullied, but they think it's all a part of school. That doesn't mean they don't love him, and they try to comfort him. They just think it's normal for popular kids to pick on the kids that seem weird. Hell, they even picked on people like Jack when they were younger. Now they realize it's some weird punishment because of the behavior of their youth. Despite Jack seemingly always getting picked on, he still made good grades. Since he started school, he has never made anything less than a B. He is a very bright kid, and this adds to the popular kids making fun of him. His parents kept telling him that success is the best revenge, and they also tell Jack that the popular kids make fun of him because they're jealous. He pretends to believe them, but in reality he thinks it's complete crap. He knows that the girl finds handsome will always have the girl. When they grow up, they will probably become male models, which would attract more females to him. He has realized at the very young age that life can be unfair at times. Sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know. Jack believes this is especially true for the wealthy and beautiful people. Jack also thinks it's unfair that the sexy people get special treatment. Anyway, when Jack completed elementary school, he was on their honor roll for every quarter, and in some quarters he made straight A's. He was easily the smartest kid in elementary school. Yet, he was still looked down because of his speech problem. Even still, he made awesome grades in the same classes as the regular kids. His speech problem tended to get worse, and when he tried to talk to the beautiful girls, he is the kind like Raj of the Big Bang Theory, but not to that extreme. Jack can talk to girls, but he just slurs his words really badly and talks really low with his head down. If he had some self-confidence, then he would be able to talk to females. His inability to talk to attractive women spread like fire through in middle school. There was even a rumor going around that he was gay, and that's why he had trouble talking to females outside of his class. Jack's parents wouldn't even know about it if Alan hadn't told him. "Jack, come here. We need to talk," Jack said. Dad summed up. "Talking about what?" Jack asked. When he walked into the living room, "We found out there's a rumor about you going around school," Jack's parents said in union. "What's the rumor about?" Jack asked. "The rumor going around school that you're a homosexual," Jack's dad answered. How how did you guys find out?" Jack asked. "One of your teachers called us." "Anyway, is it true?" No, of course not. The kids are probably saying because I have problems talking to beautiful girls, Jack answered. You have a problem talking to girls? His dad asked. Yes, I get my tongue tied out when I talk to them, Jack answered. Jack went to his parents to tell his Jack went to his parents that he gets nervous when he gets around cute girls, which are in all of classes. His tries to help by telling him to write out what he wants to tell them and practice the speech by using the mirror in the bathroom. He tried that tip and it worked. Sally. It was still for Jack to shake the label of being gay. Once the rumor had set, it was hard for it to get changed, especially with school grade aged children. Thanks to the rumor, he now has 56 people on his hit list, and since Jack is good with computers, he transferred his list over to Word documentary, which he saved on a flash drive. After Jack put the list on the Word document, he threw the comprehension book away in the trash at school so he wouldn't get his grandma upset. He bought another one and used it for notes in American history class. The red flags really started to appear in the 7th grade. Jack tried out for the school baseball team, and it was an embarrassing failure for him. During the tryout, it seemed from the coach's point of view that Jack never played baseball before in his life. He couldn't field or catch anything, and when he finally got the ball, he kept overthrowing his intended target. During the base running training, he kept tripping on over the bases, and for his batting practice, he couldn't hit anything when the coach called out the people who had made the team. Jack, of course, didn't make the team. To him, this was the worst day of his life. His parents tried to cheer him up with pizza and ice cream, but it didn't work smartly. Jack didn't not put the baseball coach on his hit list. He thought it was too easy for the police or the FBI to trace the murder back to him. Around this time, Jack's parents decided to put Jack in the counseling. They were afraid Jack wouldn't have violent outbursts because of the fact he didn't make it on the middle school team. In fact, that the fellow students started to tease Jack even more because he didn't make the team. The counselor told Jack to try and forget about the incidents by filling his thoughts with positive feelings. This was really hard for Jack because baseball is an important part of his life. This is the time where Jack discovered heavy metal. He had grown to like Metallica early stuff from the 80s. To him, Metallica is the best work. He had heard Metallica's new stuff and thought it was complete crap. He doesn't like anything that Metallica has done after Reloaded. He believes after that Metallica became bad really fast. Jack also became a Marilyn Manson fan. Most notably of the song The Beautiful People, he believed that the song is a middle finger to all of the people who think they're hot, which is probably an accurate assumption. The 8th grade really wasn't better for him. Jack started to grow his hair out, which prompted more bullying. His way from the other students, they called him a hillbilly or a fairy. This led Jack getting into fights on a monthly basis. It was getting so bad that he almost got expelled from middle school. To make matters worse, his grades started to drop. It's safe to say that Jack stopped caring for his work. Jack completed middle school with a 2.1 grade average. This was a major decline from his elementary school years. You can say Jack was tired of being bullied. High school started better off for Jack. By that time, the other students was scared of Jack. They stopped talking to him or making up lies about him. The other students just tried to avoid him at all cost. This This pretty much caused Jack to become a loner. The only person that would talk to Jack was his longtime friend Alan. Even the teachers were afraid of Jack. They all gave him passing grades because they were afraid Jack would freak out on them if they didn't, because the fact passed ninth grade with a 3.4 average. So he could graduate on time. Jack decided to lay low as far as being disciplined problems. He thinks that his parents deserve to have the kid with a high school diploma. After high school, Jack plans to work at Alan's family business, which is a photography studio. He has plenty of experience behind the camera, so it's not like his portfolio is really thin. This against his parents' plan, but they don't want to control his life. They finally decided that Jack should do what he's passionate about. Anyway, Jake, or Jack, graduated high school with a 3.75 GPA. This pretty much means that he could go to college anywhere he wanted. He had more than enough volunteer hours and enough club activities to be accepted into the Bright Future program. The only problem is he had no desire to attend college. He thought he could attend too much school as it is. The summer after he graduated high school, Jake went to go work at the photography studio with Alan's family. After a couple of months, he saved up enough money to get an apartment near the photograph studio. While working at the studio, Jack realized that he loved taking pictures more than baseball. On the side, Jack goes to all the Jaguar home games and takes pictures on the sidelines. He then sells the pictures to the Florida Time Union, the local newspapers in Jacksonville, and whoever else wants them. Despite his speech problem, he became a great salesperson. Even though Jake had more money on the side, he stayed on as a photographer with the studio. Jack's thought process is that the more money he makes, the more money he could use to buy supplies to carry out the horror to the people on his hit list. The first item on his list was a machete from Walmart. His a stick person, so he wanted to kill his first victim very slow. He is a sick person, so he wanted to kill his victim very slowly as a reminder of the pain they caused him. The first person on his list is Ashley Doe. They were supposed to go to the movies together, but she stood him up. He went up behind her and knocked her out with a baseball bat. Whack! When she woke up, she was in a strange warehouse, lying naked, strapped down to the operating table. She assumed that he raped her when she was unconscious. "Where am I?" Ashley asked, perplexed. Don't worry about it," Jack said in a creepy manner. What are you gonna do to me?" Ashley asked. You stood me up, so I'm gonna kill you nice and slowly," Jack answered. "Why the hell would you do that? Why would you want to?" Ashley asked, pleading. Because you caused me great emotional distress," Jack answered. Jack proceeded to cut off her left breast as she screamed. He then cut off her limbs one by one. His final blow was that he beheaded her. Similar killings went on like that for the next 5 years. Everybody in Jacksonville started to get scared. The Jaguars, Suns, and Sharks thought of moving to another city, but decided to stay because they thought the people of Jacksonville deserved to have something to get their moods off the killings. Jack has been described as the modern day Jack the Ripper. This doesn't. Jack, because he isn't killing hookers, he's killing people that used to make fun of him. The sheriff's office, JSO, has leads, but none of them trace back to Jack. All the buildings that killings took place are abandoned and are now off limits to the public, and none of the victims' families mention Jack in their reports to the police. They just know some guy has been on the killing spree. This plays to Jack's hands. Nobody has given the cops the description of the killer that remotely resembles Jack. Thanks to this, Jack's ego is getting really huge. Despite his inflated ego, Jackie isn't getting careless. After nearly 7 years, Jack got everybody on his list. The whole city was in a mad panic the whole time. The story even went national media. It seems like the whole country knew of all the details of the story except for another saying that helped him was that each murder was different. One time he hung a person from a tall building. Another time he set someone on fire. The only thing that was similar to all the victims was that they picked on Jack at some point in his life. Now that his list is done, Jack doesn't know what he wants to do with himself. Seriously, he seriously has too much time on his hands. To make matters worse, he is very paranoid. Every time he sees a cop, he thinks they're going to question him about the murders. Everywhere he goes, Jack hears people talking about the murders. Little did they know that the killer walked among them. Alan has been keeping up with the case the whole time. He has been keeping tracks of all the victims that have been killed when he realized that there was something strange about the names of the victims. He checked Facebooks to check out the people. He found out that all the victims had attended the same school, Baldwin High, and were from Jacksonville. When he asked Jack about the victims, Jack would always try to avoid the subject. When Alan suggested that Jack committed the murders, Jack only responded, You stupid. Alan found this very odd. The next day, Jack killed him. Jack then proceeded to leave the country. He fled to Cancun, Mexico. For a few months, he would party every day. Then one day, he died from alcohol poisoning. That's the story of Jack the Bully Slayer. The moral of this story is be careful of how your words affect people. You never know how your bullying will affect them.